Can he introduce it perfectly?
We'll see. I think I got it down right last time. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Pathfinders, to the Find the Path actual play of the Mummy's Mask Adventure Path. We are continuing to make our way through Book 1 of Mummy's Mask, The Half-Dead City by Jim Groves.
Very nice.
There we go.
Episode 20.
Episode number 20.
Apparently the one where Sitra and Sagira have a hangover.
Sagira does.
Sagira does. Citra knows how to hold her drink.
Sagira just drank more than you, I think.
Knows how to pace herself.
No, I just had better fortitude saves
I had
than you
like
did.
4 drinks. 5, maybe.
I had at least 3.
Those rare occasions where the rogue brags to the ranger about their fortitude saves.
The ranger made like 1 million nat ones. That's what happened. I'm also very small.
Sure, we're going to blame it on that.
I'm 5'2".
Body mass index. When last we left our heroes, the party had, following their adventures in the House of Pantheru, they had returned back to the City of the Living. The party had then scattered to the 4 winds, and by that I mean 2 winds, and by that I mean in 2 directions.
Only 3 wins.
3, yeah, sort of. Going through and doing their adventures in episodes 18 and 19, the Boys' Night Out and Girls' Night Out. Then, yeah, they had all convened back separately.
Technically, it was a boys' night in, wasn't it?
Well, it was eventually out.
We weren't there, but
You
We're gonna
weren't there.
find
You'll
out.
find out.
I guess.
Following their exploration of the House of Pantheru and their short run-in with the Scorched Hand, the party had received their 3rd location, which was the Sanctum of the Erudite Eye, of which they're going to need to return
keeping that
back.
real quiet, guys.
Yep, keeping that close to the vest. Of which you guys are going to then need to return back to the Dead City and find your location eventually, assuming that Onuris is not crazy when he wakes up in the morning anymore.
Yep.
I was never crazy, thank you very much.
No, you could have had
So,
Touch of
let me-
Madness.
Cue up a little bit of Sirenscape here. You guys are indoors, so I'll turn that down a little bit.
At the Temple of Bastet.
I'm on the couch, asleep.
I'm on a pallet next to the couch.
I got a real bed because I was sick.
Yes, you did.
I got a real bed because girlfriend.
So as the dawn breaks on the city, for pretty much the first time I think yet, the entire party not waking up pre-dawn to go and wait at the gate to enter into the old city.
Oh, we're on the same
Considering-
roof.
They're all under the same roof. One, considering also that you're still waiting to see if Onuris is completely recovered. He has woken up with the dawn. Unfortunately, your window is facing east, so you can look out the window and pray. The rest of you, I imagine, are probably trying to recover from your hangovers. So,
Well, Sudi's good.
yep.
Sudi is great.
Does he?
The older lady who is the caretaker for the temple would have made all of you traditional Osirian pancakes.
Yes.
It has the requisite 5% sand.
I mean, that's kind of just everything.
you
It's kind of just everywhere.
That's just a flavoring agent here.
Since
Egypt
had
jokes.
really bad teeth because
That-
of all the sand.
That is true. I imagine that all of you would kind of gather together in the, common room, for lack of a better term. I think Sagira would have probably head downstairs earlier and done her morning rituals down with the priestesses of
Yep.
Bast and spent some time with Isra and
Yeah,
making
Kitty.
sure she stays entertained. Sagira waking up with more than a little bit of a hangover. Yeah. Sudi with a hopping down the stairs with a spring in his step.
Yeah.
Happy and eager this morning.
Yeah.
Citra, I imagine, just kind of waking up and prepping herself, and nothing really bad happened with Sitra. I mean, Sagira had a pretty rough night. And Onuris would eventually make his way clanking down the stairs, as we've established with his -4 stealth.
Everyone knows where Onuris is.
He's not glistening with sweat so much as just glistening as being an aasimar.
I don't glisten. We've been over this. My skin is
All
just
that-
gold.
Yeah, I was going to say, all that glitters is gold.
You don't oil yourself in the morning?
No, I do not do that.
He does that when he's going out on the town.
That was something his servants did when he was a child.
Oh my god, no. None of that is a thing.
When he posed for the painters.
No.
So I suppose Sagira would be doing her best to keep it probably dark as she lounges on the couch and drapes a hand over her face to keep the light from burning your poor retinas. As I suppose Sudi and Sitra catch up, and then Onuris would come down the stairs to join the rest of you. He looks a little haggard. You are still suffering some ability damage.
Yeah,
But,
just -1 to my intelligence right now. He's pretty good.
He's slightly.
and since all of you did sleep in, I will actually need...
Here it comes.
I was like,
Them rolls. It's time to roll
I'm
some dice.
fine. No, I'm not.
Sudi, You're down 1 dexterity and 2 constitution.
What?
You feel horrid as you would.
What happened to my bounce and my step that I had?
You hit the bottom and you went, oh.
You have a bounce in your step, then you hit the bottom, and you still feel probably a lot better spiritually and mentally about the uplifting, hey, I've made things work with the girlfriend, but reaching the bottom of the steps, now you're feeling a little feverish, not like mind fire, plague of madness feverish, but you just feel a little crappy. You notice you're starting to develop some wills underneath the skin from where you were bitten and scratched by the scarab beetles from the day before.
Gross.
How's everybody else look?
Everyone else seems to be fine.
Okay. I would like to motion to Sudi, like nod my head, like
I'm doing this. I see nothing. Oh no, God.
So you're just too busy knocking over a microphone stand.
Trying to cover my eyes.
So I give him a nod, come over here.
You can make a
Sudi
bluff
will
check
go
to try to
over.
pass this hidden message.
She's not looking.
My eyes
okay.
are literally covered.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Because I'm on the couch, with my.
Yeah, arm over eyes. She can't see me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true. I'm not trying to either. I don't care.
You could take him into a small side room,
Yeah.
or take him outside.
It's
if
on
you
Yeah.
your
want
wrist,
to.
like.
I'm gonna drag him outside because. How close was Sagira with her mother?
You have never heard me talk about my
As
mother.
Jordan the player looks over at Rick the GM and Jessica the player, what? Do I know this?
She just answered that.
Do I know
I've never
this?
heard
I
her talk
have
about.
never told anyone about my parents at all, period.
Okay.
Except for when I'm drunk and I was talking about hot girl. The end.
Are you a hot girl, Sudi? No, then you've never heard anything.
Never!
Fine. Some best friend you are.
I don't tell anyone anything.
Considering that she's never mentioned her? Not very?
Well, we were stopped last night, and apparently her mother is dead.
Oh, that's so sad for her.
Yes, so a very large gentleman with a hook nose came and said to us in the alley, said that her mother had been murdered. And so we went to the Left Eye precinct to confront said gentleman, and they wouldn't let us talk to her. I mean, obviously she was drunk and very heavily armed, but she's supposed to go back to see him in a couple of days. So I don't know her well enough to know what to do in this situation, so
I'm going to have to talk to her and see how that's going to be handled. Probably not well.
yes, it did not seem very pleasant.
She seems ill. Is she ill or just hungover?
She's just hungover.
So good party then.
Am I the only one that's sick?
We kissed the statue.
You kissed the statue?
That's the whole thing. It's supposed to help your luck in love.
That's just superstition.
I know, but it was fun.
Yeah.
We made Falto be on the bottom, and then we stood on his shoulders and then kissed him. It was fun.
This sounds like a weird party.
It was a great part.
It was a great party.
Then there were some dogs and a halfling that formed a cheer pyramid.
I apparently missed the adventurer cheer off.
You did.
Oh yeah, Marin had his dogs on the bottom, and then the halflings got on top of it, and then they kissed the statue too. The whole thing. Apparently, the statue is very
It was
famous.
a much more enjoyable night than I did, that's for sure.
What did you do last night? I thought you were with your girlfriend.
Well, yes, that was we were making up with the girlfriend, but then we had to go get some potion to help with Onuris.
I thought he was resting.
Well, he was sick, and they needed to get some potion. They didn't have any at the Temple of the Stat, so I had to go get some. It was a whole thing.
I don't know if you want Sagira to be there, so you don't have to explain that twice.
Anyway, I just wanted to tell you about Sagira. We should go back inside.
Yeah.
Turning back inside, by this point on yours, you've just kind of made your way down.
Sagira
still
looks
feeling-
dead on a couch.
Sagira looks pretty dead on the couch. Sudi comes in and probably has his mouth slightly agape since, again, you can't really sweat, so you're just...
Are you all right?
Feel a little ill.
You do have filth fever, which is effectively your septic.
I get a 24 on my heal check. Do I know he has filth fever?
He has filth fever.
You have filth fever.
It's quite possible whatever he was exposed to may have affected everyone else. You know that it usually takes anywhere between 1 and 3 days before it really starts settling in.
It can take about 1 to 3 days for signs to start showing.
Fun. I'll get that looked at the temple after today.
You're at a temple.
I'll get that looked at the temple today.
Onuris would
So he
glance down.
heads over to a priest.
Saber would descend the stairs at this point, joining all of you, giving Onuris a smile and making her way over.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you'll hold still. She would open your one normal eye, look into it, stick out your tongue, say ah.
He would sigh and follow directions.
Sagira moves her hand.
Sitra is standing behind her.
Everybody's looking.
She would check your tongue before checking your lymph nodes on either side of your neck and then kind of
I'm
nod.
fine.
You seem to be much better. And the potion
That's the
seems
one
to
you
work
should
well.
worry about.
You're panting.
He has filth fever.
She could check in on you. I can treat some of the symptoms, but I won't be able to treat the disease itself. Although this isn't nearly as contagious or deadly as the Plague of Madness, you should probably be able to recover. Just don't overexert yourself and take things easy for a couple of days.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to do that. We can't afford the time.
Why? Are we on a time limit?
I mean, I assumed that we wanted to get to our next site as soon as possible.
Oh, yes, but I think you not dying would be more important than going into our site.
Yeah, I mean, I could go to another temple. I'm sure they can have something to fix me.
You could go talk to Septi. She was going to use her magic on me, but I'm feeling better. Maybe she'll extend the offer to you.
She said that she was willing to try.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is if someone else comes in and is sicker than you, or is already waiting at the temple, or has been waiting there for days, that's a large part of the problem, that there are other adventurers that got sick on day one.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so...
yeah. We heard
That's
about
fair
somebody
point.
that turned into a ghoul and killed a bunch of people in an inn.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Also,
Well,
Falto might
like-
be a mummy.
What?
He got a huge gash on his arm. I told him to go to the temple today to get it looked at.
He actually
Which
fought
would be
a
way
mummy.
more important than treating your filth fever if it's
It's way more important.
mummy rot.
See, I'm fine.
Did they actually fight a mummy, or is
Yeah.
this...
Apparently, yes. Like, he was exaggerating at first, but then at the end he told me that yes, indeed, they had actually fought the mummy.
And he lived to say about it.
That's because of your fancy symbol.
Oh, yes. So, you remember when we were joking around with him about the Egyptian symbols?
Oh my
Or sorry,
gosh.
the Assyriani symbols?
What did he do?
He apparently painted the symbol that we gave him on his shield and said that it stayed the mummy and gave him a chance to fight back.
He did clarify that it may have also been the priestess behind him channeling.
Yes, it could have been that, but he was very convinced that the symbol was part of
something to
the
him.
recoil.
What did you tell him?
I told him it was just luck and the symbol didn't mean anything, but he didn't believe me.
This is how misinformation happens. Right here.
Mechanically speaking, real quick, Sabra is capable of casting a lesser restoration, which she does have prepared, and would be willing to do so for you. You'd be able to choose one of your stats, and she'd be able to heal up 1d4 points of
I
damage
could
to
really
that stat.
use my constitution back.
Yeah, because you're currently down like 3 hit
I'm
points, I think,
down.
permanently.
Does she
Yeah.
only have one or does she have two? Because I'm still down 2 wisdom.
I have a lesser restoration.
Yeah, she only has the one, although you would be expected to donate to the temple.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, the cost for the spellcasting is 50 gold.
Ah, it's easy.
Are you casting on me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So Sabra would pray to
You get
best...
2 points back.
Good, that's all I needed.
She would say her prayers to Bastet before basically leaning a hand on your cheek and standing on her toes, leaning over and giving you a kiss on the forehead as you would feel a wash of kind of a pleasant tingling energy burn through you. In Citra's case, it is more just the heat of the sun and the holy energy of Horus burning down
Yeah,
through
he's
you.
more like touch your forehead with a thumb, like can't get too close.
You regain 4 points of ability damage to your constitution.
I get all my hit points back.
My will save is a 2 now instead of a 1.
It's an improvement. Get slippery mind.
What is the plan for today then? Are you wanting to rest?
Well, I mean, I figured we could go take a look, see what it is, at least locate the place.
Alright then. If everyone else is okay with that plan.
We should keep an eye out because of the type of location we have. I'm sure we're being watched.
But how would they know to watch us?
I think they've been watching us this whole time, to be honest.
What
That's
makes
a
you
lot
say
of work.
that?
That's like a lot of work.
I don't know. I feel like she's been keeping an eye on all of the groups to see what they get.
They have their own site today.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Pharasma will provide.
I don't follow Pharasma.
You totally should. It worked very well for me last night.
How did Pharasma help you last night?
I didn't know she did
Because-
sex stuff.
That's probably actually Onuris laughing
That's
too,
actually
by the
possible.
way.
Oh my god, he can laugh! Look at that!
I think he's still sick.
I'm
Because
fine.
Reese
madness.
and I are fated to be together, and we made up last night. Very easily. It was wonderful.
TMI.
Of course, she's
That we're
very
back,
good.
That we're back together.
It was wonderful.
It's fate. It's Pharasma smiling down upon me.
Okay. I shove a pancake in my mouth and, and leave.
Onuris would follow Sagira.
Sudi will try to tell Sagira to hang back for a second.
I glance at that alleyway, completely ignoring Sudi. Just to see.
It sits empty.
Oh, fine. I'll just follow along.
But Saber would wish all of you well. I suppose you should make your way out. Tell Onuris not to wander off again. And
He would
Wander
incline
off.
his head.
What do you mean wander
Where did
off?
you
Where did you
wander?
go?
I was very sick last night.
Well,
I
we knew that.
had a fever dream and wandered the city. Sudi found me before I got into too much trouble.
And
Where'd you
gave
end
him
up?
A potion.
In front of the house of the pharaoh.
Oh.
What were you going to see the pharaoh about?
Onuris would shrug.
Sense motive on Onuris.
not that the Pharaoh has... Actually, I don't think this
Wow.
Pharaoh has ever even occupied that house. It's just his
The
summer
most
home in the
perfect
south.
Oh,
of 20s. 24.
What is with you
19.
min-maxing your rolls?
I only get ones or
Dice?
20s.
Citra gets a 19.
Wow, they see right through you.
He just shrugged in response.
I don't know if you made a bluff check or not.
No, he just shrugs.
That whole being evasive is not lying.
I look over
Well,
at Sudi.
I mean, they'd be able to sense his motive, so you're just not interested in talking about it. Yeah, so you can tell that he doesn't feel like talking about it. It's up to you
Okay.
whether or not you respect his privacy.
Secure doesn't.
I turn my gaze to Sudi.
Uh-oh. What?
What happened?
What did he say? Did he say anything?
No, he's just babbling incoherently. It was just making no sense. I got him to drink the potion, everything was better.
Where'd you get this potion from?
He had the unfortunate happenstance to have to go and meet my mother.
Oh. I've seen her. She's mean.
She is mean.
She's a very reserved individual.
She's very
Unreserved?
unpleasant.
She said a lot of mean things about you.
I'm sure she did.
It's not very nice.
Why is she so unpleasant?
Because she's very rich and very
Rich people.
stuck up about it. And seems to think that
This bourgeoisie woman telling me
So
what to do.
bougie.
she's so bougie.
She's
How bougie.
very uptight, I suppose, is the nicest way to put it.
Did she give you the potion?
Yes. Or she gave Sudi the potion.
That's interesting.
So there's a sliver of care there, but otherwise,
Huh. Okay.
probably best we were at the party.
Yeah.
I think you definitely had a better time than we did.
An adventure is an adventure.
Speaking of adventures, to
Walk to the gate.
the dead city.
So I suppose all of you would set off making your way. Sudi now thinking back to it with Onuris' mother's comments pertaining towards her son being very disturbed and how he should be cautious.
And that's why Sudi's in the back. Sudi in the back, ready to run.
Fun.
You still feel a little shaky with your dexterity damage and everything. I
Yeah.
think Sagira back up at full.
I'm full.
Yeah, you guys also regained a number of hit points if you were down equal to your character level.
I was only non-lethally injured from falling down.
That's right, you did fall.
Good job.
Onuris was at full health. The only thing he had was that intelligence damage, and she has
So
1 point
you're still a little
left.
fuzzy. Sudi's a little shaky, and Citra's probably still a little fuzzy too.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Your ability. Oh, that's right. You get a lesser
You got a
restoration.
Okay, we walk toward the place.
But yeah, you would set out. You would actually arrive at the gate to the Necropolis much later than you have regularly, as usually you're here basically at dawn.
Oh yeah.
Today you all kind of slept in large part because
Illness.
We were up
Yeah.
most of the night.
you were in somewhat rough shape. You would note that there are still crowds here, more or less opposing what's going on, although as the sun's rising, they basically position themselves so they're on the shade on one side. And then you can only imagine as it probably approaches noon, most of the people are going to realize that it's too much of a threat to their own health and safety to remain out here during the height of the day. Regardless, though, there are a number of people here that seem to be generally upset. You would notice that the voices of the spire are here in force, and unlike before, they actually stand there with their crossbows out and loaded, although not pointed at anyone. The Pharasmans would watch all of you impassively as you would make your way past them, and then underneath the spire of Pharasma and out into the city proper.
We should be wary of them for sure.
There's definitely tension building in the city. I don't like it.
It's going to boil over at some point.
Well, and those in power keep their weapons loaded.
Let's hope that their efforts to keep the people out are helping with keeping the unpleasant things here in. Did they seem like they were concerned with, like, guarding the gate as far as keeping, like, undead out?
Their primary concern is always the undead.
Yeah.
They're Pharasmans.
Okay, that's
That being said, they seem to be, judging by the shouts from some of the people, especially some of the shouts directed towards all of you as you make your way by, as they view you as part of the problem that's happening here. You can tell that the Pharasmans are concerned about the idea of, oh, well, we're going to rush in there and we're going to show those adventurers what for. And it's like, well, first off, if the adventurers actually wanted to fight back, these are a lot of people that have come out here with their grandfather's old rusted short sword and shaking their fists at people. Secondly, if there is danger inside, they want the populace to be as far away from it as possible. But they would open up the gates, allowing you within. You would then begin to navigate, making your way to...
Question. Is the next site, like, would we pass the House of Pantheru on the way, or would that be really out of the way?
That would be the other side of the
Okay.
Necropolis.
Yeah, Techman never said he's going to go.
Well, I know, but I wanted to check it to make sure he actually did and that he was okay.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's going to trust Techman.
Madib is crazy, but he's...
You're actually only going to be about 4 blocks away from the tomb of Akentepi by the time you make your way to the Sanctum.
Oh, cool. I guess we'll head there, weapons out.
Oh, yeah, so weapons out as soon as you step into the undead city.
As you would stride your way through, it would be hotter than usual today. Not just because the temperature has climbed a little bit, but you're also making your way into the city later than you usually are. This has its some added benefits. Most of the larger insects, the scorpions and such, have retreated underground as the heat of the day begins to build, and are less interested in, you're going to guess, confronting all of you. This is also the first time that you've entered without being, en masse with the rest of the adventuring groups. And as such, it is eerily just silent, other than the blowing of the wind between the sturdy stone buildings as you make your way deeper and deeper. Oh, I thought that dog was a sound effect.
No, it's just
It's like there's
Razzie.
one lone dog barking
It's the
in the
halfling dog.
background.
Sounds specific, especially like Razzie.
The city streets would be winding, and you would make your way for some time as you head deeper and deeper, trying to navigate your way around to the Sanctum. Some of the streets have been cordoned off, and you would periodically pass patrols of both the Voices of the Spire, as well as the Voices of the Spire escorting members of the Church of Pharasma, who have made their way in here, you're going to guess, to deal with some of the undead problems that their channeling gives them a much greater ability to deal with. Accompanying these are some lay worshippers. These are directing carts pulled by white camels, collecting both the bodies of skeletal figures that have been killed out in the streets to reinter the dead, and hopefully, after re-sanctifying them, allow them a final and eternal rest, as well as you can imagine recovering some of the bodies from adventurers lost over the day before. From what you understand, the Spire has not actually suffered any losses, but considering that they're facing this from fortified positions and not actually going inside of these buildings, it's a little bit easier to say. You do remember hearing about a guardsman that was assigned to do this that had gone missing. That was mentioned yesterday. Although much pertaining towards that you don't know. You just know that that's another piece of wood on the building fire that's consuming the populace of Wati. The sun would beat down on all of you as you make your way. The lonely, silent streets of the Necropolis spread out around you. In the distance, you can see what looks to be the roof of what seems to be a larger structure than many of the other surrounding ones, although not nearly as large as the bureaucratic structures that you'd seen previously. One much larger, though, than the House of Pantheru. Dust and sand would now cover the once bustling streets, and the buildings that were once homes and shops are gradually disintegrating into rubble after centuries, and in the case of the older portions of the city, millennia of neglect. Scattered throughout the ruins is the occasional palm tree, or shrub kept alive by the broken remnants of long-abandoned irrigation system. And from time to time you'd see the occasional stray animal. Rats most commonly, although at one point you would see down a far street what seems to be a lone jackal, who would turn staring in all of your direction and watching you suspiciously. Almost too long. Although again, that might be your paranoia.
Would say a prayer to Anubis.
Very well.
I want to sense motive this jackal.
You may make a sense motive on the jackal.
And Onuris would also be keeping an eye out for that falcon.
I get 20.
I'm glad we're not playing second edition. I get a nat 1 for a 3.
With a 20, you think it's just a jackal. He's suspicious of all of you. You also wonder if he's kind of learned over the past few days that people mean food. Whether or not that's you're going to be food shortly or what.
Cool.
Regardless, he seems to be watching you from a direction.
Oh, carry on then.
Other than the jackal, though, there would just be a lone falcon.
Is it the same falcon? Can I tell? Is it too far
From
away?
this distance, no, although it does seem to hover in slow gears strangely over the direction that you're headed, beginning to make slow circles.
Can I?
Oh, and there's a two-headed vulture.
Oh,
No,
weird.
just
I was like, wait a minute.
Death on vulture!
I was going to say, the order of these things were all wrong.
Death vulture.
Do any of us notice him act weird about the falcon?
I mean, he's just watching it.
Okay.
To be fair, I just stared down a jackal, so like we're apparently very weird.
Well, and Sitra doesn't have knowledge religion, right?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, for the other two, you'd notice that they probably don't pay much attention to it, because I believe both of you have knowledge religion, enough to probably know that the falcon is sacred to Horus.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those like, oh, okay, he's probably interpreting this as some sort of sign from his god. It'd be the same as if there was like a cat sitting on a doorway. Sagira would probably take that as...
I mean, I follow the old gods.
Yeah, but you don't have knowledge religion, so you don't really know much about his. You know about Osiris, you know, stores of the first mummy and the proper mummification processes and all that good stuff.
All right, so what's the door
green guy.
situation?
We're not there yet.
I will need
I thought we were.
the party to make a perception roll.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Oh, but we're in my setting. My
That is
favorite
true.
terrain. I get a 17 for Sagira.
Sudi gets a 17 also.
Sitra gets a 27.
Onuris gets a 21.
27, you say?
Midori, no.
Hat lady's following us.
Maybe. We didn't see her when we came into this part of the
Yeah, but we
Been
came in late.
invisible. She does have magic.
She's just we have just heard of the crunch of the sand behind us. She's like invisible, just sitting right behind us.
She's invisible and she has overland flight.
What level wizard do you think she is?
I don't know, just saying.
Dang. She's been sandbagging on her team.
We don't know what they've been doing.
Citra. In the distance, not too far ahead, as you're basically making your way, you're approaching towards what looks to be a well that leads basically through this small area, this cul-de-sac, which was probably once living buildings, heading closer in the direction of where the Sanctum is. You see a faint movement. The sun, rising up still in the east, casts long shadows here, and the shadow of the building would paint across the street ahead of you. And for a moment, you think you see a separate shadow. One just on the other side of the building up ahead. One making a gesture. Almost as if an arm raised up, alerting, in your mind, alerting someone else nearby that someone's approaching. Possibly a lookout or a signal. Regardless, though, your only way really to head forward from here is through this area and then to the street beyond. But you would immediately become cognizant of that, as well as your eyes darting up to the surrounding rooftops, the alleyways that branch off. There's really never any place where you can see very far ahead of you in the old city.
Yeah. I tap Sagira on the shoulder and I motion to her like something around the corner.
Is there like a way to go? Are we in an alley?
The moment where you're walking, there's a large building ahead of you. That building seems to be basically ahead of you on your left, which seems to be where Sitra has seen the shadow coming from the other side of this building, where there's a gap between that building and the next one.
Is
You're
there a way
basically
for us
following
to
this
cut
road.
around?
You could feasibly try cutting around left, although with Onuris, you don't think that there's any way that you could do that silently without alerting them that you're heading that direction. You feasibly yourself could try branching out if you wanted to try stealthing, banking left and trying to go around the back of that building into like a flanking position.
Okay, I get Onuris' attention, and I make a motion like, just stay here. And then, like, I, like, do this thing, like, I point at Sagira, and we're gonna go this way, and you guys are gonna stay here.
Onuris would raise an eyebrow at you, but
I mean, Sudi
Stop.
will just shrug. We've done this before. So.
I will allow... Actually, both of you are members of gangs previously, so we'll allow wisdom check from the party. Allow those of you with a criminal background, which I think might actually include Sitra also, to get a +2 bonus on this check.
What is this?
Okay.
Wisdom.
14.
20.
Okay.
Onuris gets a
5.
22 if you can make the wisdom check.
Onuris and Sudi, I suppose as you'd watch the girls circling left, you'd realize that if they become aware that you just stopped here, then they're probably going to assume something is up.
All right, so I
don't
guess
know if you want to
slowly
make either like
walk.
you
Yeah,
slowly walk forward or you look over and you're like, Sudi, look at this fine yet rustic
And
architecture.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell him some history on Eurus.
Is there anything even remotely that looks like it's worth inspecting or talking about in this hall, in this alleyway or whatever we're in? Like a statue, anything?
The architecture itself. There was a fountain.
there's a well in the road heading up ahead, so you could just kind of mention it's like, oh, Sudi, this is...
Special well water.
Just tell him about the history of the city.
I was going to say, what's my knowledge history?
Or
I have some knowledge history. I might know some of this, something about this.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just kind of be like,
I'll
this
just
is the
start
time of
talking
the
about
things
this
that
district.
Okay.
I
so-
get a 20 on a knowledge history. It sounds good.
You'll also need to make a... that is a good check. I'll need you to make a bluff check. I'll give you a +2 bonus. You're trying to sound nonchalant.
16?
That's not too
Get
bad.
a sense motive check.
Can
here.
Sudi aid him?
No, that's right. You guys have gang buddies that were running around in here.
I don't know if buddies is the
So
right word.
I'll need 2 stealth checks from Sitra and Sagira as they have broken off going left.
Okay, that's 21.
21 and 24. We had to do 2, right?
Oh, 2. 21 and 18.
Okay.
Oh, wait! Except it's urban. So 23 and 20.
Okay. And I'll need a perception check from both of you.
Let's see.
Citra only gets a 15.
17.
So the two of you can hear Onuris prattling on about, and it's like, it's like, oh, well, this is obviously a small cul-de-sac. It's like they would have had a baker over here in close proximity to the water to, have all the rest of this, and that's where they would have kept their pigsties.
fine and rustic architecture.
Yep.
I especially like how they made walls.
I believe this was a goat house. The two of you would circle around the crumbled remains of this building, reaching a corner so that you can kind of peek your head around and see. Doing so, darting your head out and glancing down,
You get poked in the eye.
Don't jinx yourself.
you would both see, one, what appears to be a single man. He is set at the alleyway with a khopesh basically in his offhand, or his main hand, you're not entirely positive, maybe he's left-handed, pressed up against the wall. Seemingly just listening, you're pretty sure this is the one that initially alerted, with what appears to be that, or wearing padded armor, carrying this khopesh with a longbow strapped to his back. He looks to be well equipped for just a thug. You would also notice a second man. This one across the street, crouched on the partially collapsed roof of a building opposite of this man. So effectively, where this man is, there's this street where you were walking, and then the other side of that's a building, and this man's perched on top of it. He is crouched low, carrying with him what appears to be a net, with what looks to be a bow leaning up against the wall next to him. Down in the ruins of that building, you would see a third man. Further along the street, off towards the left-hand side, crouching with his longbow in hand, you would see a fourth. You're not entirely positive if this is even all of the people here, but there are at least 4 individuals. The man around the corner is within charging distance if you were to dart around the corner and rush him.
How far is the guy on the rooftop?
The one with the net or the one with the bow?
The one with the net.
The one with the net is about 60 feet away.
I'm gonna draw my bow and shoot him?
We don't know if they're bad yet. They could be just hunting undead.
They're holding a net, and he has a bow, and they're gonna ambush us. They're not nice.
I was gonna say, generally, if you have a net, you don't usually catch undead.
Well, they're probably slavers.
Possibly. They're trying to catch little Sudi.
Well,
Wanna
or,
have a
you
little
know,
catfolk
the
save down
gold
in
boy.
Or Gold Boy.
We're all very valuable.
Does Gold Boy have a bounty on it? Well, I guess he would be ransomable.
Well, he's pretty, so even if he doesn't
Well,
have...
some
if he-
people might be stupid and think he actually is gold.
I do think he's gold, because I failed my check.
That's true.
I actually think he rubs gold dust on himself in the morning, but I've never confirmed this.
Some sort of intelligent goal.
Well, I know he bleeds. He bleeds a lot. I've seen him.
Like that
I was
guy
gonna say, are
from
we
Rocky,
Eberron? Is he
in the Rocky
Warforged?
Horror Picture Show.
No, God.
I would never want to play Warforged. Yeah,
That
the
seems
I can't be healed by the cleric is kind of a downer.
Draw my bow and shoot
I will
him.
actually allow both of you to make me a knowledge level check, since you can both see them.
I get an 18.
Citra gets a 21.
No, well, no, yeah, 18.
With an 18, you have no idea who these people are.
That's weird.
You don't think that they're fated, or at the very least, I mean, you've been kind of out of the game for a little bit, so maybe they brought some new people in, but this almost seems too well equipped for the fated.
Yeah.
Sitra, however, you would lean out, watch this man. He would lean up against the wall, just kind of waiting and listening to Onuris. He would gesture kind of a motion of patience for the man up on the roof with the bow. As he does so, he would raise his left arm. And there, hanging around his wrist, you would see the thick links of a silver chain. Something you know belongs to the eponymous gang. The silver chain.
I figure Citra has a look on her face of like, oh crap.
I'm going to shoot the guy with the bow, actually.
Someone's getting shot.
While on yours.
That's
so you're
Citra's
just
surprise
like,
attack
we have no idea
round.
what's going on right now.
Because then I can just drop my bow. But yeah, I'm going to shoot that guy on the roof. So he'll make noise so that they'll notice him.
All right.
Skyrim style.
So you would basically heft your bow, get ready to shoot, and we're going to go into combat.
Okay, I'm shooting this net guy because I can get to him.
Which one is Net Guy?
The one on the roof there, you don't have an angle on.
Oh, well then I'm going to shoot this one.
I figured this is
Yeah,
Net Guy.
the one over there you have an angle on, or the one with the longbow is the one way back there on the roof.
Do I have an angle on him?
Yes.
Okay, then yes, I'll shoot him.
You're far enough back from that wall. Any of the walls that you see, assume that they are 8 feet high.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you are closer to the wall than your opponent is, then you get cover against them.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Otherwise-
there's going to be lots of ranged combat going on. So
Oh, this is going to be a mess then.
I hope you have your ranged weapons.
I don't have a ranged weapon.
I have a dagger.
What is this?
I
Yep.
just hadn't thought about it yet. I'm sorry. I'm a bad person. Usually
Onuris is about to get a lesson.
I
You
usually
should have
have
taken
one.
Citra's... Didn't you replace your crossbow with this magical
No, I
crossbow?
just got a crossbow.
Oh, okay, that's right. You were throwing.
we
that
found
before.
another bow
Yeah,
somewhere.
we found a plus
you're not
one light
proficient.
I'm
crossbow.
not proficient.
Yeah.
I'm a cleric, guys. Cleric.
You still are proficient with a light crossbow.
I know, but I keep forgetting to buy one.
Also,
On
he keeps
Eurus, the
taking
rich
expensive
person
stuff.
forgets to buy things.
I was not rich. I owed the party money for a little while, remember?
He just comes from a rich family. It's not the same thing.
He's used to his butler buying him things.
I had a butler
Jeeves,
for
buy
like
my adventuring
10
gear.
years.
Been a whole decade.
we still need to have that.
You, Vizier, Jafar, buy my adventuring gear.
I was going to
That
say.
would end poorly, I think.
I got you.
We
this
totally need to play
lamp.
that Jagari foppish noble that you had concepted out
yeah,
at
it's
some
going to be
point.
phenomenal.
I feel like I'm going to have to go after these guys up top because I'm.
You have a climb speed,
I
don't
have a
you?
climb speed. Yeah,
Well, that's good. I'm going to let you know that they exist by shooting one.
you should definitely do that.
Let's get some initiative from the Z party.
Oh, I didn't roll terribly. I didn't roll great, but I didn't roll terribly.
I'll erase this little note off of Onuris' initiative tab
Why did you have a note on my initiative
to
tab?
remember that you're diseased.
That's a good
I'll
thing.
leave the note on everyone else's initiative tabs.
Yeah.
All right, Sagira.
I got a 23. Which is pretty much as high as I can get.
Jordan.
Sudi's rocking a 15.
Rachel.
Citra's got a 14.
Heather.
Onuris also has a 15.
Sudi has a +2 initiative.
Onuris only has a +1, so.
Sudi will go first.
Okay.
He'll be the first one to get out of the line of fire.
So Sudi will go first.
I'm hoping these guys roll below us.
Now my people. Ooh, that's a good one.
What?
He said,
not gonna
ooh,
end
it's a
well.
good roll, and I was like, no.
Oh.
No, good rolls for you. Bad rolls. Lots of bad rolls.
Sudi had a 23, or not Sudi, Sagira had a 23, right?
Yep.
That favorite terrain bonus paying off.
Yep. And
I'm
I
not
rolled a
liking
19.
I'm not liking the fact that they're rolling that high.
They're roguish.
They're probably roguish. Silly dex.
If only I had
fighters.
favorite enemy human.
Citra had a 14. I need you to roll off.
Roll high.
Nope, 9.
Oh. Is that with your bonus?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Ouch.
Rolled a 5.
Well,
So-
I have a feeling that.
Hopefully we still get a surprise attack round.
Well, yeah. Actually, you should.
You
get
up a little bit of combat music
I was
here.
like, you should actually get a surprise attack round. I don't know about you.
It's not too bad.
Interesting. Okay.
We're trying something new. All right. So, surprise attack round, and because of their excellent perceptions and stealths, only Sagira and Sitra will be acting the surprise attack round.
Wow, good job, guys.
Sagira Maibe.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot.
So at the moment you're aware of, you're actually not aware of 2 of the enemies that I put down on the field.
I'm gonna try to shoot this guy with the longbow that I can see.
So you pop around so you're going to pop out. Oh, the only one with the longbow is the one at the very back. Or are you talking about the one on the wall immediately next to
The
you?
one next to Heather.
Okay. So you basically draw your arrow, fire at the furthest target. He is,
Unless he's too far away.
I'm going to say that looks like 65 feet.
Okay, well I have 70-foot range.
Hey,
Yeah.
so just barely in range as you knock an arrow.
Okay. Alright. Is he undead? No.
He has partial cover, but
Okay, I get a 19.
a 19 would sail through the air, striking your
Oh,
target.
well that's good.
I mean, it's flat-footed, so.
Well, I'm not super great with this bow. Wow, max damage. I do 7 points of damage.
Jeez.
It's a strength +1 bow.
Very nice.
Your arrow would slam into him. From this range, you cannot hear the sickening thump,
Can I
but
then,
you
like, hide?
can hear
Can I,
his
like-
scream.
I
You can make a stealth check with a -20 penalty to attempt to snipe.
That's not the best roll I've ever had. Oh, but I get a +2. So 21. I get a 1.
You get a 1? Yeah. You would thunk an arrow into him before going, yes! And then pressing yourself against the wall.
Yes.
Sitra, who I believe has her magical crossbow out and loaded.
See, I'm debating whether to just get in this guy's face, because if he's like the
can.
leader, then maybe we could just stop this whole thing before it starts.
Whatever you want to do. You could
I mean,
sneak
you
attack
could
this
rush
one.
around the corner. You're not going to be able to rush around the corner and also
stab him.
get
You
sneak
could
attack.
5-foot step and shoot him though.
You will get sneak attack if you
Yeah, you could
arrow that
5-foot
guy.
step and shoot him. You're within 30 feet, so you would get your
You
sneak
can just
attack.
toss your thing away afterward.
Yeah, there's just something. It feels bad that we're the ones who attack first.
Han Solo would attack first.
I know.
These are obviously bad people.
But I'm chaotic neutral, so for me, I'm like, better get them before they get me.
Yeah, Lucas had a whole problem with Han shooting first with Guido, but him opening up a door, seeing Darth Vader, and then unloading on him, nope, no problem at all.
Because it's Darth Vader.
These guys are obviously gonna hurt us.
I'm just saying, this argument didn't stand up.
I'm gonna 5-foot step and shoot
Very well.
the guy.
On the ground.
So
Within 30
Sagira
feet.
leaps forward. You level your crossbow. The man would glance back in the direction of the man that screamed before hearing Sagira, and then starting to turn in that direction before you.
Okay. So that's
There'd be the heavy thunk of a crossbow going off. Sudi and Onuris are now aware of this at the very least.
You heard that guy scream.
21.
21 will strike your flat-footed opponent.
Sneak attack that man.
You're within 30 feet, so you will get your sneak attack for your ranged attack.
Sneak him.
You thought you could outrogue me?
That'd be 10 points of damage.
Jeez.
Nice.
He did.
Very
You would
nice.
solidly thunk an arrow into your foe. He is still standing as your crossbow bolt slams into his kidney.
First level adventurers, or rogues, these are not. Sad.
Music picks up a little bit, and that means round 1 of combat.
It's a little too well timed.
Round 1, top of the initiative, Sagira Maibe. All of your opponents are still flat-footed.
Shoot that guy again.
Shoot that guy again. That worked well the first time. See if I can make it work.
Yeah, don't focus your fire or anything.
14 plus 5. Well, I'm gonna hit this guy with a sword in a second. I might as well use my bow until
Well,
I
I
have
mean,
to drop it.
she's also already injured that other guy, too.
Yeah.
I got a 19.
A 19.
No, yes, 19.
Your arrow would sail through the air, striking the man again.
Oh,
Come on, take him out.
Pretty much about 3 seconds, you thunked 2 arrows across the distance, slamming into him.
that's 3 points points of damage.
3 points of damage. He would stumble with the second arrow in him, but much like Sean Bean, he's just not going down.
Sigur's
You have
like,
move
just
action,
die.
Ray, if you want to take it. You can feasibly rush around the corner at this guy.
I am going to shove my bow away because I'm probably going to need that, so I might as well use the move action to put it away. Because I am going to melee this guy.
Very well,
next
so
turn.
move action to put away your bow.
Yep,
Currently unarmed.
that's fine.
Oh, right.
I don't want to drop it because then I'm not going to have a bow for the rest of the fight. And there's a lot of guys on roofs. Can I also yell, there's a lot of guys on roofs?
I mean, that's
You're welcome to yell that.
yeah, that's
Okay,
a
that's what I
reaction. So
There's a lot of
Probably
guys
have
on
time to
roofs.
yell like, "Look up!"
Also, he screamed, so you have to know there's people. I hope that you screamed, gang members!
Just like that.
exactly like that. Gang members.
Oh my! Thunk, 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 death.
Oh my word.
They thought they were going to attack us. I mean, they are.
They definitely are.
Yeah.
They have a net! They're gonna Aquaman us.
Going to Aquaman.
He has a net, right?
No.
Aquaman doesn't have a net? Why would he?
No, he has a trident.
Yeah. He's
Who has a net? A trident and a net is a thing.
That's a
That's a
Myrmidon,
Myrmidon.
but
Oh. It's not Myrmidon us. He could use a net.
It's gonna
Aquaman, use a net.
He controls the water. He doesn't need a net.
That's how you catch the fishes.
Just tells them to get in the you know,
The net?
the
Speaks
net.
to them.
Oh, so he
Come
does
to
have a
your
net.
death, sweet fishy.
Yes.
all right. So the
That does raise the question: what does Aquaman eat?
the silver he eats fish. The silver. He just listens to their horrible
What's with
screams as he
Aquaman?
eats them.
Terrible.
So the street thug on top of the building
Uh-oh.
is going to rush from his corner to the opposite corner where he hears the thunk and the arrow shooting off from.
And then yes.
Yes.
Oh, that net.
Rushes up. You guys would see a shadow kind of cast down over the two of you below as he hefts the net and throws it.
I'm Batman.
I don't like you, sir.
Dun, 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 dun.
So that would be against Sagira.
Okay.
We're looking at a 14 touch attack.
Oh, it's not a reflex save?
Nope, it is a touch attack.
It touches me barely.
Aw, you're netted.
My touch is a 13.
You're netted.
I am netted.
So he would toss as the net would basically fall over you. It's weighted at its edges, so it pretty much like drops over you and twists as you pretty much just had enough time to put your bow away and start reaching for your weapons before suddenly just net.
You're gonna die, sir.
She says.
She says, I've had a real bad night. Somebody killed my mom and you're gonna pay for it.
It may be these guys. Who knows?
I don't know, maybe.
You have gained the entangled condition. You are in fact on a leading rope from this guy, so he's pretty much
Oh,
dropping
he's gonna
down
like.
and he's
He's
starting
gonna
to
pick you
like
back up.
There's
reel
a rope,
you back
you say?
in. Yes, there is a rope.
Oh, sir.
The insult simulator.
I can pull the rope. If he's holding the rope, and I yank on the rope.
Oh, you're gonna try and pull him off? That's not a bad idea.
I apparently do combat maneuvers, is a thing that Sagira
I was
does.
gonna say you're weirdly combat maneuver heavy.
I'm always getting stuck to things, or
You always get grappled or entangled. The guy on the other side, instead of throwing his net, he's going to use a move action to retrieve something else. Pops up from his cover, hefts, and then throws this large, weighty sack that flies through the air
Uh-oh.
at
Oh, it's a freaking tangle.
Probably.
Onuris, he's not. Oh, whatever.
Onuris is gonna be stuck
He has
fast.
spells. Onuris could just be like, well, I guess I'm standing here.
He's the most heavily armored. They're probably like, oh, there's their fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this
That's the
idea. I'm also
fighter,
so tiny. Yes.
They're like, there's the fighter, there's the rogue, you know?
There's two rogues, a monk, and a fighter. What a
Yeah,
weird
we're like the
group.
weirdest party ever. We have no.
There's this weird unarmed guy.
He like has a lot of rope though.
Lots of
Maybe he's the guide.
so much rope.
He's a cowboy.
I really like this sound set, by the way.
It is good.
It's a good sound set. What sound set is this?
This is the Elemental Earth sound set.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, exotic.
I speak Terran.
I figured the Earth would probably kind of work for the deserty thing.
Yeah, it actually really fits.
All right, so this Tanglefoot bag comes sailing through the air. He's throwing that
A long way.
Way more than 10 feet.
A long
30 feet to hit Onuris, so he's taking a -4 penalty on this attack roll.
Sagira's mostly just mad that there's a net. Who the heck does this?
Slavers.
Right, Slate?
And this is part of the reason that he was going for this. So we're looking at a 12 to hit your touch AC.
Yeah.
He's going for the heavily armored guy.
Yeah. Smart.
Roll around in the dust. It'll help.
I don't think that's how that works.
That's how I got rid of that adhesive.
But then you were just...
I mean, better than
All right,
60.
so I'm going to need Onuris to make me a reflex save.
We believe in you, Onuris.
17.
Hey.
17?
Hey.
Very well. You avoid becoming glued to the floor as it
Yeah.
glues
It's sand.
all over you.
It just...
Well, there's
covered-
still, there's still cobbled roads and everything here.
I just like to think that you look down and you go, there's like a half-inch of sand here, dude. That was dumb. Because Onuris is like that.
That notwithstanding,
Are you entangled too?
I'm entangled.
You're entangled, buddy.
it's still...
But you're not anchored, so...
You're not anchored, you're just entangled. So yeah, you can only move half speed. You take an assorted number of penalties, etc., etc. As the two of them glue you into place.
Does Onuris let out the
they both had
longest
to use
sigh?
move
Probably.
actions,
Actually, Onuris is probably just sigh.
We hear from around the corner.
So Sudi, that would bring us to you. The only opponent that you're actually aware of is the one
That
just
guy?
through that Tanglefoot.
Okay, let's see here. So
Well, I
10,
made that guy
20, 20. I think I can actually get all the way up to
just-
there. I have a 40-foot movement speed, so...
Yeah, he is not armed, so you will not provoke an attack of opportunity as
I
you
get
climb
right up in
Hey,
his
buddy.
face. Excuse me, you seem to have dropped something on my friend. I punch him in the face.
So,
can
yeah.
you grab him by the
Leap up
shoulders
there.
and kick your feet?
No, I punch him in the face. I cold cock this guy.
Very well.
Hello.
You would leap up there, punch out at him.
Please do it.
16.
A 16 will strike your target as you
Hey.
slam your fist into the side of his face.
For 9 points of damage.
Ow!
That is a resounding
I told you I
crack.
cold cocked him.
You break his jaw.
I don't like
Awesome.
when my
He would
friends
stumble
do-
backwards, pinwheeling his arms. The dotted line represents where the roof has collapsed up there, so kind of like pinwheeling his arms to keep from falling off of this roof.
This is Sparta, and you kick him off.
If
you
I
go,
had the This
"What
is
is
Sparta
Sparta?"
kick action, maybe.
But he would start reaching for the well-made scimitar that he's carrying.
Oh, great.
But
Great. That's just great.
Get out of here with your
from
hellish
Sudi we
weapons.
go to Onuris. I believe you currently have a movement speed of 10.
Yeah.
The longest
sad.
side? The longest
You're
side.
already really slow, now you're like extra really slow.
Also, no ranged weapons, right?
No.
So what are you
Cast a
going to
spell.
do?
I only have one attack spell. Come on.
Oh, you actually do know that that there was some yell coming from over that.
Yeah.
Sagira did yell, "You're gonna die!" Essentially, really loud.
Do I know anything about Tanglefoot bags? Will water get rid
You
of
may
this
make a craft
crap?
alchemy.
Oh, I don't have that.
No.
Okay, goody.
You know what? It is actually a common good. You may make an appraise check as well.
Alright, can I make profession curator?
No.
Yes, there was a whole section on this in the museum.
Yes, the ancient Tanglefoot bag. of old.
Ah, crap. Can you make appraise checks untrained?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On yours gets a 12.
You have no idea what this...
Oh, lovely. Alright,
You vaguely recall someone in that market where they're selling adventuring gear going, "You'll want a Tanglefoot bag." But no, you didn't buy one.
Alright.
Or stop to listen to the spiel.
Alright, it doesn't say anything against double moving, so I'm gonna move
Yeah.
20 feet that way towards the guy around the corner. On yours, just kinda...
I think you can actually, you can double move.
Double move into a
Alright, so
potential
I
flanking position.
head that way towards the alleyway.
So yeah, Onuris comes covered in this like green sticky goo that's just adhering everything to it.
At least I don't have any hair.
That's,
I was
that's
gonna say, if you had hair, this would be just a
Oh,
total
that's
mess.
right. I keep forgetting you don't have hair.
A total hot mess.
All right.
Let's not get Sudi.
So as
in its
Onuris
Tanglefoot
closes the
bag.
distance, we go to our other thugs.
Anybody have any universal solvent?
I'm in a sack.
I sure don't.
Sudi would have needed to make me a perception roll
Oh,
real
we
quick.
can make that. Yeah. I get a 15.
15?
I probably don't detect whatever's going to be sneaking up on me.
All right, so Jessica, the one closest to you, that one takes a 5-foot step, sliding out from behind his cover, turns, knocks an arrow, and lets fly at Sudi.
Who's unaware.
Will a 16 hit your flat-footed AC?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
It would actually hit my regular AC.
Oh, you gotta get arrow snatching, and then you're just like, sheet.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
Well, I
An
had to-
arrow strikes you between the shoulders for 8 points of damage as you would stumble with the impact.
Sudi lets out one of those horrible cat screech
Yeah, there's a
noises.
yowl that comes out of him.
It should have some effect, like making you go.
That one was going to run at Sitra, but Onuris is on top of him now, so he's going to 5-foot step, so he's no longer squeezing with the side of the building there. So he basically just steps out, hefts his Kopesh, and swings. Going toe-to-toe with your golden boy.
A golden boy.
It's actually a 18.
Yes,
You are
because I get a
entangled.
-4
Yeah.
because of the stupid entangle.
Stupid entangle.
Managing to strike you for 7 points of damage as his Kopesh buries in your thigh. He would have to like kind of wrench to get it unstuck from the tangle foot pad covering you. You're like, oh, I remember this. It's like an adherer fight.
I
All over again.
huggled that guy.
I will need a perception roll from Onuris.
22.
22 is you would actually notice the third thug as he would step out from the shadows of the collapsed building, knocking an arrow and letting fly at Onuris. He's taking the penalty for firing into melee. That's only a 12 though. Yeah, this would just thunk off of your shoulder pauldron. And then the one that Sagira shot twice will now shoot back at Sagira.
I'm in a net.
Sadly, the net doesn't provide you any cover.
I know, I
it
wish
just
it
gives you
did.
tons of penalty. Well, it's thin rope.
-2 to your AC, man.
What's
Yeah,
the
so we're actually only looking at a 12. You're not even
You know,
flat-footed.
that doesn't hit me at all.
So the arrow goes selling past
like
you
glanced
as you
over there, like-
struggle. To be fair, you just shot him twice.
I know.
He's
Sagira's in a
bleeding.
very bad mood, just wants to murder people.
Citra. It's a target-rich environment.
Since he's in melee, I will shoot at the guy on the roof that just shot at Sagira.
Yeah, kill that guy. I
All
already
right,
shot him
so
twice.
it's going to be a move action to reload. He is 60 feet away from you.
I have an 80-foot
Okay.
distance.
So you move action, crank your crossbow.
Fine.
Yes. So that would be a 26 with a threat.
A 26 will hit threat. Roll to confirm.
I don't think a 15 will confirm.
A 15 will confirm.
Okay.
Get him!
Get him.
What
The
is
Rachel
that? It's
critical
a
luck.
The Rachel critical luck. It's a
TM.
*2 critical as it goes flying through the air.
2d8. I don't get my
It's just 2d8.
sneak attack though.
You do
I?
not get your sneak attack. No.
Oh, only 3 points.
No,
of
you
damage.
get a +1 crossbow, so 5 points of damage.
5
That's true.
points of damage.
5 points of damage. Your arrow would catch him in the eye as he goes tumbling
Yes!
back
Ooh.
and falls.
I already hit him twice.
Owie.
That's good.
As
Sagira
he
goes,
falls
nice.
still, 5-foot step if you'd like to take it, but I don't know.
Sagira just sings about being in a net.
I don't think Sagira actually sings. I
No.
think that's just a Jessica thing.
Jessica sings about
do you
Sagira.
need me to try to get you out of this, or
I'm gonna try to pull this guy down. I don't say. I'm just like, eh. You can't do anything this round anyway.
I will take a 5-foot step over.
So you just kind of step out into the alleyway, giving yourself some more options, providing yourself with some cover against some of the other archers too.
Yeah.
That brings us to the top of the initiative, Sagira.
Can I grab this rope and yank this guy down? Because I'm assuming that I have to do it fast enough that he doesn't, like, reflexively let go of the rope.
You're gonna try to make him fall on top of you.
Yeah. I like to roll around on the ground with people, apparently.
TMI.
Mostly monsters, especially if they're sticky.
That is.
That's,
Extra-
oh my god.
extra
What I'm
rough.
going to say you can do,
Okay.
because this net is grappled over you, if you wanted to grab the rope, you could attempt a disarm check, but there's no way for you to pull it down. He's ready to let go if you're far stronger than he is. There's also a lip on that building up there, so he's kind of braced himself. You can either attempt to disarm it with...
I mean, is it helpful to do that?
Well, he'd no longer be anchoring you, you'd still be entangled. You can attempt an escape artist check as a 4-round action to break free. You can attempt a strength check. It is very difficult to just snap through a net.
Well, I'll
This
just
is also
escape
for an
then.
action.
I have a pretty good escape artist.
All right.
That wasn't the best roll. I get a 14.
With a 14, no, you spend your round struggling against this net and, I suppose, cursing up the guy.
Maybe he'll pull me up there. I don't know if that'd be better or worse.
Struggle is real.
Maybe better, because then he'd be there.
That brings us to that guy. He's going to make a strength check.
Yes! Maybe this is better. It's kind of like, you catch a feral animal in a net, and then you are like, oh, cool, I caught it, and you open the bag, like, bad.
So technically, he's basically just making this strength check. It's an opposed strength check with you. He's not trying to pull you up. He's just trying to taunt this enough so that you can't move from that spot at all.
Oh, that's not like I tried that, but okay. I get a perfect 20 for a 24.
24?
That flight
Actually rolled phenomenally well as well. Not a 24, though. So you would basically go, just kind of plant your heels and then tug back as he tries to pull it taut and nearly pinwheel him over the top.
I like to think that she yells, I'm the fighter, dude. She doesn't, though, because she doesn't know anything about classes.
That's metagaming.
Jessica yells.
So metagaming.
The small Jessica.
He's going to drop the rope as a free action.
Oh, well, good.
And then he's going to use a move action to retrieve a Tanglefoot bag. Eyeing down towards Sitra now.
Can I ask you, are these guys slavers? All I know is they're trying to take us, and that seems like a slaver thing.
What you would know pertaining towards the Silver Chain. The Silver Chain claims to take its name from the first major score its members made, a valuable lifted from a great cleric in ages past, and the secret of the game's longevity is also the secret to its fortune. The Silver Chain primarily only targets the dead for robbery. Even in a culture as death-obsessed as the Osirians, grave robbers are still preferred to actual robbers. The fact that they're attacking you is odd.
That is weird.
Probably because we're adventurers in here.
Yeah,
taking all the stuff
they are
would
talented
normally
tomb
steal.
robbers. They'll oftentimes, as you have some experience with, they will oftentimes force or cajole other thieves into joining their organization and then forcing them to split their earnings and that they thieve from tombs, or forcing common pickpocketers into becoming tomb robbers.
Okay, they might be trying to do that.
But they are less violent than most other underworld gangs. The Silver Chain even hires its members out as guides for adventurers and scholars, but of course they usually relieve them of their own valuables before leaving them abandoned in the desert.
So they're just trying to, force us to work for them.
It is notable that they also do not deal in drugs.
Well, that's good for them.
They just leave people to die.
I don't like them because they put a net on me.
So yeah, that other one produces that. The one on top of the building with Sudi will whip out his scimitar, spins the blade, and lashes out. You know what? He's expecting some backup, so he's going to fight on the defensive.
Okay.
Ooh. Even with the penalty for fighting on the defensive, that's a 19.
That's gonna hit.
That's a threat.
Uh-oh.
Maybe not. 15 to confirm.
Yeah.
Oh, your dex is down.
All right, so critical hit on Sudi.
Great.
You're about to be injured.
I'm already injured.
You're about to be more injured.
Yep.
So I suppose all of you would hear a scream as Sudi is sliced for 13 points of damage, blood spraying out and across the sand.
I got 10 hit points left.
I don't like this.
Oh, I don't like this either.
Speaking of Sudi, I suppose you just kind of stretch your shoulder, having just got shot in the back. Look back towards the guy that shot you, back to the guy that just stabbed you.
And run
Look
away.
over to all of your companions on the other side of the battlefield.
Good. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do.
All right.
We'll take a 5-foot step, get some cover from that guy who's gonna try to shoot back again.
Okay.
Yeah, you will get partial cover if you step to
Yep.
there from the guy that's down the ground.
And then
Although at that point, you would also already be aware that there's another guy over there with a bow inside of that building.
Yeah.
So you'll have 0 cover from that guy at that point.
I don't have any cover for any of these guys. So I'm gonna...
You could feasibly, and I'm not trying to direct your character, you could try beating this guy down, and if he falls, you could actually use a move action to drop prone,
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
which would give you full cover from both of the ones on the
You know what,
ground,
I'm
but
gonna try that. Alright, so
you're then going to have to use a move action next turn to get back up to your feet.
I'm fine with that. So I'm gonna flurry of blows this guy. I'm
Very
gonna lethally flurry the blows this guy.
It's a full round action, so you will not be able to drop prone if you flurry
I thought it was
blows.
a free action to drop prone. I thought it was a free
Move action.
Okay.
It's only a free action if you're a gunslinger with gunslinger's dodge.
That's right. Okay.
Do you want to become a gunslinger all of a sudden?
Maybe. It's the next character. So
I have the dreaded monk gunslinger punch in the face and then shoot you.
that actually could, I'm basically John Woo. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm
Got a
gonna
little
do
Keanu Reeves.
strike on this guy.
They killed your dog.
All right. Let's see what we got. Okay. So that is a 15 to hit this guy. Lethally.
So you lash out with him with your fist. A 15 will strike him even fighting on the defensive.
Oh, good. All right, so
They're literally just wearing padded armor, so.
You guys
I'm
should have
gonna-
brought some better armor.
hit him in the
Well,
head.
it's really hot out here.
4 points of damage.
4 points of damage will drop the trapper as he
Okay.
falls to the ground.
And then you fall to the
And
ground.
then I'm hitting the deck.
Very well. So you basically just kind of hit him. You'd hear the sound of the other guy starting and throw yourself prone. Probably trying to roll over onto your side before you get that stabbing pain as the arrow still protruding out of your back hits the ground.
Yes. Man. I have so much gold and no potions on me. Could really use a potion right now.
I'm gonna die with no health, but sadly rich, I guess.
Yeah, I'm
Your
very,
corpse
Bury
would be
me
a
with
very
all
good-
my money.
I was gonna say, good thing I left it with all the trees, I guess.
Onuris.
Onuris would yell and ask Sudi, "Are you all right?"
I hurt very badly.
Well, I can be there in 5 rounds. I would just
Right.
the client.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Onuris would sigh, glance at this gang member in front of him. We really don't have time for this, and then swing his Kopesh with a 19.
I love this very much.
Oh, a 19 will
This
definitely
bro.
strike a target.
Take him
Yeah.
down.
Onuris does 8 points of damage.
You would slice, burying your blade into him, and he would fall.
Hey, look at
He's
that.
pretty messed up from that sneak attack that he got in round 1. You can move 10 feet.
Onuris,
You might as well go to Sudi.
yeah, but that leaves me wide open for both of those archers.
Hide
I mean-
behind the well.
I mean,
You're gonna be, yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna
It's
be.
not a tall well, it's just a well.
crouch.
You could get partial cover from the well if you move towards it.
Alright, I'm gonna move 10 feet towards the well.
It's a move action to crouch as well. But
Yeah, well.
I'll just. Is
So
it
you-
partial cover if I'm standing?
yeah, you get a +2 to your AC as you move.
Alright, that means my AC is normal.
Very well.
Yay.
Onuris moves on the well, scampering over there to get some cover.
Onuris does not scamper.
He moves with dignified grace.
Exactly.
He slowly and deliberately walks.
While even though he's gooey.
All right, so the other 2 street thugs. Well, that first one's going to knock an arrow and let fly it on Onuris. Maybe this is like a legitimate assassination attempt. 20.
Freaking
You made it up the channel, buddy.
5 points of damage as an arrow comes slamming into your arm. You're moving pretty slow.
And you haven't pulled out a ranged weapon and just started firing at this.
So, yeah, I think he's going to hold his ground there and just keep peppering you with arrows as you close. Actually, he will take a 5-foot step back to get the cover.
Are they both on roofs?
No, he's.
No, they're both down on the ground.
Yeah.
They're just in the hollowed out building.
Yeah.
Only this red guy's on the roof.
The other one darts across the street as he goes running past. He doesn't actually have shot on the run, but he does fire off an arrow. Technically, he fires off an arrow once he hits the wall on the other side and then shoots off. Flying at Onuris. You don't have cover from this angle, but at that point, it's only a 14.
Nope.
Very well. That would glance off of your shoulder as you basically take an arrow in one arm and then another arrow
Onuris
slams
turns
your shoulder.
and gives that man a death glare.
With the eye.
Give him the evil eye.
Distantly, there's a screech from a falcon somewhere. That would bring us to Sitra.
Can I get to this guy around the corner in 30 feet?
You heard him running at you, and it looks like...
You saw Onuris turn and give someone over there the look. You know?
Oh, he reserves that for people he really hates.
Yeah, it looks like he's exactly 30 feet away if
Yeah.
you dart around the corner.
And you
He
can
is
draw one
currently
of your
cannot
weapons.
see you,
Yeah, and you can draw
Stealth.
one of your weapons.
so you can
Yeah.
actually make a stealth check as you charge around the corner. It's a minus because you're moving your full speed.
Yeah, I might as well try
and then
it.
shoot him.
So I'm gonna try to stealth
she gonna
around
shoot
him.
him?
She
I'm gonna
would
drop
have,
my,
she would
yeah.
have to take an action to reload.
That's
yeah, I'm
true.
gonna drop my crossbow, pull out one of my kukris.
Very well.
Yeah.
Do you have
Start.
Do you have the 2-weapon fighting feat?
Yes.
Yeah, you can pull both of your kukris as part of that move action if you want.
Nah, I get better attack anyway. I mean, I can have them both out, but I'm.
Well, I mean, just in case you wanted to full out attack him next round.
Anyway, okay. Stealth. Okay, I got a 10.
Yeah. So you would bolt around the corner, trying to be quiet about it, although you're still running and scampering against the sand. He would turn, having just shot an arrow at Onuris,
Hey, but he does just have a bow out.
spinning back around to face you as you dive at him with your blade.
24, that's a threat.
A 24 will hit. Threat.
Bad ragey luck.
15?
They're not hard to
A
hit.
15 will confirm your critical
They don't, they're just wearing padded armor.
hit. He would swing out with his bow, although you'd slide underneath that, bringing your blade back and across his stomach.
I hit him for 12 points of
Jeez.
damage.
Yikes.
You would nearly eviscerate the man as intestines would spill out. He is still
Where are those jackals?
moving, though. He would let out a horrified scream, grabbing his stomach with his, non-shooting hand and dropping his bow.
Yeah, you should give up now.
We don't like games.
Sagira.
I'm gonna try to get out of this net.
All right. Strength check or escape artist.
Let's see what it is. 25.
25, you would wiggle your way out from underneath this net, tossing it to the side. I imagine glaring up at the guy.
Yeah.
You have 5 foot step remaining.
How am I gonna get up? Is there a way to get up onto that roof?
It looks like he just scaled the side of the building. Glancing it over, it doesn't look like it's a particularly difficult climb. Definitely not as hard as a statue.
Okay.
I like that our DCs are compared to this statue.
Then I'm just gonna give
You weren't
him
there
like
for the
a
challenge of the statue.
Statue
It was
like
hard.
covered in oil or something?
No. I was just gonna be like, you're next, and
Smooth
prepare myself.
Oh, forget if everybody who's climbed it previously.
From
Just like the Blarney Stone.
Sagira, who readies herself. The guy would just kind of look down at you, extend one arm holding a bag over, and let go.
I'm going to kill you.
You basically rip your way free of the bag, turn, yell, "I'm gonna kill you," and then 16 hit your touch AC.
Yeah.
And then a Tanglefoot bag splatters across the top of you. You'll need to make a reflex save.
You think I haven't been sticky before?
Again.
I wrestled in here yesterday.
That was only yesterday.
I got a 14.
14, you are stuck to the building and the floor as it glues you in
This
place.
guy's Spider-Man. Like, first he's got webs, then he's got more webs, basically.
Nets, not webs.
It's like a net web. This guy is Spider-Man.
He will then use a move action
No.
to retrieve his scimitar.
Friendly.
Oh, he's going down after you.
Well, come then.
Well, not this round, but he's on his way.
Language, Jessica.
I'm stuck.
Sudi.
That's what we survived.
So, Sudi, at the moment, what you hear is the scrambling sound of Onuris moving before a yell, as you can only judge by the two thunks you heard, one of those arrows, or maybe both, impacted. Another horrified scream as someone is eviscerated somewhere out there.
Hey, I killed a dude
And then
too.
I'm gonna kill.
I'm still gonna kill
That
him.
sounds suspiciously like Sagira. Sudi will stand to his feet.
You consider all of this as you stare up at the sky at the circling falcon.
Apparently, this falcon was a falcon of death. I will stand up to my feet.
He's
Alright.
gonna be my animal companion. next
I'm going to basically XCOM this thing and crawl down the building.
All right, so it is a climb check. Well, actually,
I don't
you can
have
take,
to do that.
Yeah, you can
It's
take
5
10 because you
speeds.
actually have you're not.
All right, so that's 10 feet.
You have a
down.
natural climb speed.
20.
What is your climb speed?
So that's half my
20.
movement.
So that is half of your movement. So effectively, you would lose 20 feet of movement descending.
Yeah, so I go 5, 10, 15, 20, and yell over my shoulder, Onuris, healing, please!
Yeah, you would technically only move 15 feet because you technically used your first 5 feet
Oh, that's
climbing
true.
over the side of the building.
Okay, yes, I'm very
So
close.
yeah, you're there as you would.
I'm within 10 feet,
Yeah.
15 feet of Onuris.
So Sudi launches himself to his feet, rolls off the top of the roof, scampers down before beginning. I think it's the first time you guys have seen him actually use his climb speed.
Yep.
So
He's very agile.
he drops down to the ground and starts running, crying for Onuris. Speaking of Onuris,
Is that guy that's almost dead within 30 feet of me?
he is not.
I channel.
Yeah. Some of the people that are on the ground are bleeding out.
You don't have selective channeling?
No.
Oh my god.
I have other things I need to use my feet on.
He force pushes people with his channeling.
I'm just saying, selective channeling when you have a high charisma is so useful.
All right.
Just heal me.
Yeah. I'm gonna move the. You're luckier than me.
You move the 10 feet over.
Stick his hand to you.
Oh, lovely. Hope he's not touching my fur with that goo.
It's
He
actually
has
already
to.
starting to dry and flake off the Tanglefoot bag.
That's good.
I'm gonna use a cure light wounds, and you're gonna get 8 back.
You got 8 hit points of healing. I suppose as Onuris walks over, goes, hello, Sudi, and reaches out and rips the bolt out of, or the arrow out of your back, and then
Yank.
slaps you with some healing.
Touch.
Thank you.
Birthmark glows.
Thank you very much.
There's another screech from a falcon overhead as we go to.
I'm rather fond of that falcon.
Alright, so that one that Sagira just hit would sob, move action to pull out his Kopesh.
Now he's gonna try to attack you.
Oh,
Just
the one
run.
Sitra hit. Okay, I was like, what? I didn't hit anybody.
Wait, me?
Scream out an expletive as he swings his Kopesh at you, using his offhand to hold his intestines in.
You really shouldn't be moving that much.
Only a 14, though, to hit the rogue. Yeah, he's a little bit off kilter. He's slipping and sliding in his own blood and entrails. The other man will dart forward, darting around the corner 15 feet as he closes, hitting the other corner, and then launching an arrow around the corner at... he just did manage... Well, he's managed to hit both of you.
He's feeling lucky.
Yeah,
He's feeling
Sudi's
lucky.
lightly armored, so he's going to fire an
Ugh.
arrow at Sudi.
Seriously.
That would be a 23.
Seriously!
For 6 points of damage.
Oh, wait.
So Onuris would rip an arrow out, heal him, and be
And
like,
another
thank you, and then
arrow
another
replaces-
arrow would hit that same spot, slamming into your back.
Onuris turns and looks at the guy that just fired the arrow and is like, "You're next."
I think I agree.
He does
Maybe
the
we should've
snidely
just
whiplash
stayed
laugh. He's like, hey. Anyway. Was that his dog?
No, that's
Dog
his dog.
attack.
His dog he would mess something up, and then his dog would just be like,
Anyway, and Hanna-Barbera.
Old school, man.
school.
Do they even show those on TV anymore?
yeah, there's a whole network for that.
Sitra.
Sure you don't want to give up? She asks the guy as she raises her kukri ready to attack again.
You can use a standard action to intimidate if you want, but he looks
I
pretty
think she's
committed.
just asking.
Yeah, I'm not really intimidating.
Terrifying.
I'm just seeing if he's going to drop his Kopesh.
Yeah, he's just screaming expletives at you and swinging his weapon.
Alright,
Well,
fine.
screw you too. And she swipes her arm across to
All right,
finish.
2 up and fighting or regular?
Just regular.
Okay.
21.
A 21 will strike your target.
6 points of damage.
That, regardless, though, you just kind of grit your teeth before spinning, slicing your blade, burying it across him, and dropping him to the ground. Yeah, he is bleeding out as well. From Sitra. Just out of curiosity, have any of you ever taken a human life before? I mean, you're fighting for your own existences right now,
Sudi
but
doesn't want to talk about it.
I don't think Onuris would have killed a human before.
I mean, technically, actually, none of you have killed anyone yet, but they're all bleeding out.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I wanted him to drop his weapon.
Onuris was a noble and then lived in the desert and then worked in a library. Now he's killed a human being before.
So none of you are murderers.
No.
No, but these people are obviously trying to kill us.
Yeah, I mean, this is self-defense.
So I'm stuck to the ground.
That is true. So you may make a craft alchemy if you have it, or an appraise check to know a little bit about Tanglefoot bags.
Wow, I know the crabba. 26.
26, you would note that you would be able to tell that a Tanglefoot bag, it is not really... Your best bet would probably be cutting yourself free with a slashing weapon, and your arms are still free enough that you could draw your Kopesh and swing down at it. You could also just make a strength check to attempt to break yourself free, at which point you just have the entangled condition, you wouldn't be glued in place.
Okay, well, I'm going to make a strength check.
Potentially, if he's coming down to you, you could also just delay or even pull your weapon and ready in action to
He
swing
may
at
not
him.
even be coming down to me, though. He
That's
may
true.
be just coming down to go mess with them.
You would also know that a Tanglefoot bag, the goo becomes brittle and fragile, and basically flakes away within a minute. So this isn't going to be long, but
I'm going to try to break out of this. I'm
you
going
have
to draw a
any-
weapon, and I'm going to try to break out of this.
very well. Do you have any universal solvent?
No. I get a 15
Was that a strength or to attack it?
strength.
A strength?
Well, if it was an attack, it'd be higher.
You would not be able to break free as you struggle against it.
Sagira's going to be a murderer.
I'm going to kill this guy. That will bring us to that trapper. He just saw another of his guys go down. Yeah, he runs 30 feet back to the far end of the roof. The east end. Yeah, right there. He'll then make an he's not going to make an acrobatics, he's going to climb. He's going to scale down the side of the building and move 5 more feet, so... Yep. So he goes clambering down. He needed his hands free, so he dropped his scimitar as he did that. We're killing everybody! Sudi.
Come on! I move the 25 feet to this guy. I go to attack like that.
Rush past him?
Rush past him.
This way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that Onuris could potentially get in there.
That's gonna take me like 3 rounds, but okay.
And then I'm gonna non-lethal this guy because we need some information. So I'm gonna non-lethal this guy. Man, what is with the 9s on this die? I get another 15.
A 15 will strike your target.
Yep. All right. I hit him for 4 points of damage.
He stumbles with the hit, although he is still standing as you slam your leg into him. On Onuris, you basically like turn, probably glower this step forward as the glue entangling you would begin to flake away enough that you can actually start moving at your regular speed.
Onuris
It only lasts for 2d4 rounds.
grins. I can get there in 20 feet. Onuris would have his Kopesh and swing around the corner
All right.
with a 17.
17 will strike your target even with his partial cover.
Onuris does 10 points of damage.
You drop the guy as he would hit the ground. Let's just go ahead and say Sitra. Sitra, I imagine, is going to run over there. Or are you going to run over to help Sagira? My question is, the last guy is fleeing. So unless you've managed to break Sagira free, and even then she's only moving at half speed, or you start shooting arrows at him.
No, I dropped my crossbow.
Yeah.
So I'll just go help her get untangled.
So Sagira, feasibly, if you break yourself free this turn, you could start shooting arrows at the guy next turn.
I could track him.
I could track that guy later.
I'm a ranger, dang it. And I have track.
We should gather them up and report this to the Spire.
I'm not listening to you. I am going after that guy.
Well,
Period.
he's way on the other side.
Oh, that's true. You're not even near us. Okay. What do I need to roll? I need to roll things.
Regardless, I appear to have something in my lung.
I get a 17 to break myself free. If
You
aided
managed to
or
break
something.
yourself free that turn.
And then I'm just gonna follow that guy.
Very well. You're still going to be entangled for the next 2d4 plus or minus 1 rounds.
That's fine. I'll just track him.
Very well. So real quick, Sagira, you're heading off after this guy.
Yep.
Is anyone accompanying you?
I would, except I need to be healed first because I'm below half hit points.
It's not worth it. Just let him go.
I am still tracking him.
Sagira,
Let it go.
Do you guys want to do anything about all the people bleeding out all over the place?
Onuris wants to gather everyone up and tie them up in channel so they don't die, and then take them to the and then go get the voices to arrest these people because they're tomb robbers and they just tried to murder us in the street.
Sagira needs to murder this guy.
No, you don't.
You don't need to murder this guy.
She just found out that her mom died,
I know,
and she was
that's-
helpless to stop it, and then she was helpless this entire fight because of that guy. She's gonna murder that guy.
Go after her, and then I
Sudi
go
will
run to
begin
help.
running after
Because
her.
you're more likely to be able to.
I will be able to catch up to her.
No, I will need a survival check if you're tracking this guy. He has a head start. Attempting to move at full speed to try to keep up with him. It is a penalty on your survival check if you choose to do
Onuris
so.
would toss Sudi his potion of Cure Light Wounds.
Is it a big penalty?
Drink that
And
before he runs off.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'll start helping gather the bodies.
It's a -5.
I will take it. I get a 21 with the -5.
21? Yeah, you can start tracking him. You're moving at the same speed he is, so you're not going to overtake him at this point, but you can keep following him. He seems to be making a beeline towards the exit.
Can I see him?
Let me see how long that lasted.
Does he know I'm tracking him?
Well, I mean, he is running for his life. So,
How stable is this well? Is it pretty sturdy?
okay, 1 second. So he basically has 6 rounds until your glue wears off, which means that he can cover. He's at least 1,000 feet ahead of you at that point. So once you're pursuing him, if he's double moving, so he's hustling and you're moving 30 feet per round. You could try just going for the exit and seeing if you can cut them off there.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Sudi will accompany her.
Very well. So back in the clearing, well, what do you get taking 10 on a hill check?
18.
18. So you'd be able to stabilize everyone here. You didn't actually kill any of these people. They were just bleeding out.
If the well is like sturdy, we'll just tie them up to the well. You know, just put their backs against it and tie them to the well.
Okay.
And then...
I know Sudi would, but do any of the rest of you have rope?
I have rope.
The rope ran off.
And then I guess Sitra and I will go find the nearest Spire patrol.
Which of the two of you, by the way, has the highest combat maneuver bonus?
Mine is a 4.
2? Very well. So you are better at tying ropes.
And then we'll go report this to the Spire. If they're all stabilized, I won't channel. I'll wait until Sudi gets back.
Well, like, effectively, you'd be able to stabilize them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if I don't have to use my magic to stabilize them.
So tying them up, the two of you would basically have these people available to question once you need to. Sagira and Sudi go running off against the one survivor to escape.
Don't forget to drink that potion, because I already marked
Don't forget
it
to
off.
drink your
I
potion.
believe I'll have plenty of time to do that since you're moving slow. Sagira's moving slow, yes?
Yeah, for a little
And we'll find out why and who set up this ambush in our next episode when we pick it up here next time.
I get 5 hit
Thanks for listening, Pathfinders. I hope that you enjoyed this, and come back and check us out next week. Da-da-da-da. Goodbye, everyone.